Stop blaming the speaker. Stop telling yourself they are speaking too fast. It is not their fault, and honestly, it is not your fault either. It is a biological trick being played on your ears. You have been studying English for 10 years, yet you walk into a coffee shop and freeze because you cannot hear the separate words. Today, we are going to break the code. We are going to teach you how to hear the ghost sounds that do not exist on the page.
It is the single biggest lie in language education, Daisy. I have watched thousands of brilliant students, doctors, engineers, people with PhDs crumble into dust because they are listening for words that are not there. They're listening for bricks, but English is water. It flows. If you try to catch every drop, you'll drown. Today, we teach you how to swim.
Exactly. Welcome to the Slow English channel. I'm Daisy, and today we have a very special long-form masterclass. We are joined by the legendary Professor Peter Hanson from New York. Peter, you have been teaching this specific listening problem for 30 years. Why is this the #1 issue for advanced learners?
Thank you, Daisy. It's good to be here. 30 years is a long time. I remember back in the early 90s, I was teaching at a university in Manhattan. I had this student, let's call him Kenji. Kenji was a genius. I mean it. He could write essays that were better than my American students. His grammar was perfect. He knew the pluperfect subjunctive tense, which I don't even think I know properly. But one day, Kenji comes into my office, and he looks terrified. He looks like he has seen a ghost. I said, "Kenji, what is wrong?" He said, "Professor, I went to the deli to buy a sandwich. The man behind the counter yelled at me. He said something in a language that was not English."
Oh, I know this story. This is a classic. What did the man say?
Well, Kenji thought the man said a single, long, angry word. Kenji wrote it down for me phonetically. He wrote, "Jeet yet?" Just one word, jeet yet. Jeetyet. Kenji thought it was an insult. I had to sit him down, pour him a cup of tea, and explain that the man was actually asking a polite question. He was saying, "Did you eat yet?"
Jeet yet? That is amazing. And this is exactly what we are talking about today. It's not speed. The man in the deli was not speaking quickly, was he?
No, and that's the key. Listen closely, everyone. If you measure the words per minute, that man in the deli was actually speaking quite slowly. But he was using what we call connected speech. He was smashing the sounds together. The did you and eat all melted. The D in did became a J sound. The U turned into a soft Y. Eat lost its vowel length. So did you eat yet became jeet yet.
This brings us to our first major lesson of the day. We need to stop looking at English as a list of separate words with spaces in between them. When we write, we put white spaces between words. We see did, space, you, space, eat. But your ears do not hear the white space.
Precisely. There are no spaces in spoken English. It's a continuous stream of sound. Daisy, I want to try an experiment with our listeners right now. I want to play a game of British precision versus American mush.
Oh dear, I feel like I'm going to lose this one, but I have the clearer accent, so perhaps I will win. What is the game?
I want you to say a sentence in your standard, beautiful, received pronunciation. Very clear, like you are speaking to the Queen. Then I'm going to say it how a real New Yorker says it at 8 a.m. on the subway. And I want the listeners to close their eyes and try to feel the difference in the rhythm.
Challenge accepted. Listeners, are you ready? Take a deep breath. Okay, here is the sentence. What are you going to do with it? I'll repeat that. What are you going to do with it? Every T is crisp. Every word stands alone.
Okay, that was very pretty. It sounded like a harp. Now let me ruin it. If I'm talking to my buddy in Brooklyn, I'm not saying, "What are you going to do with it?" I'm saying, "What you gonna do with it?"
That sounded like one long German word. Do it again, Peter. Even slower, but keep the American mush.
What you gonna do with it?
Let's break this down, step by step. This is critical. Listeners, don't just listen. Repeat this with me. Peter, let's look at the first block. What are you? In the UK, we might say, what are you? But Peter, you turned what and are and you into a monster.
Right. This is a process called palatalization. It's a fancy word, but it just means your tongue gets lazy and pulls back. The T in what hits the U in you. When a T and a U kiss, they make a ch sound. T plus U equals ch. Try it. What you? Whatcha?
What you? What you? I feel so informal saying that. What you?
Don't worry, you sound very cool. So, what are you becomes whatcha. Everyone say that, whatcha. Now, the next part is the future tense, going to. Daisy, if you're teaching a beginner, you say going to, right?
Yes, I'm going to the shop. But even in London, if we're relaxed, we shorten this. We say gonna.
Gonna. But Americans take it a step further. We don't just say gonna, we reduce the vowel. It becomes gonna. So now we have what you gonna.
What you gonna? It sounds like a machine gun. What you gonna?
And finally, the verb, do. So what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Listeners, I want you to say this 5 times. We're going to do a drill. I'll say the strict version, and Peter will say the relaxed version. I want you to repeat Peter's version. Ready? What are you going to do?
What you gonna do?
Again, focus on the ch sound. What are you going to do?
What you gonna do?
One more time. Don't think about the spelling, just mimic the noise. What are you going to do?
What you gonna do?
That's exhausting. But Peter, here's the problem my students have. They learn what you gonna do today, they feel good, then tomorrow they hear a slightly different variation and they panic. They think, oh no, I don't know this. How do we stop the panic?
This is where we need to talk about psychology. We need to talk about the affective filter. Daisy, you know about this from your training, right?
Yes, Stephen Krashen's theory. The idea that if you're anxious, nervous, scared, your brain puts up a wall.
Exactly, a literal chemical wall. When you're stressed, your brain releases cortisol. Cortisol shuts down the parts of your brain responsible for language acquisition and decoding. So when you hear a native speaker and they start speaking fast, your heart starts beating. Thump, 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 thump. You think, I'm failing, I don't understand. That thought triggers the cortisol. The cortisol blocks your ears. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So the more you worry about not understanding, the less you understand.
Correct. I had a student named Maria. She was from Brazil, wonderful woman. She told me, Peter, when I watch a movie with subtitles, I understand 90%. When I turn the subtitles off, I understand 10%. Now, does her vocabulary disappear when the subtitles turn off? No. Does her grammar knowledge vanish? No. What changes is her anxiety. The subtitles are a safety blanket. Without them, she panics.
So what's the cure? How do we lower this affective filter?
You have to stop trying to be perfect. You have to accept that you will miss words, and you have to embrace the ambiguity. Let me tell you a secret about native speakers. Daisy, be honest. When you're in a loud pub in London and your friend is shouting a story, do you hear every single word they say?
Absolutely not. Half the time, I'm just nodding and smiling and hoping they didn't ask me a question.
Exactly. Even native speakers don't hear every word. We predict, we guess, we use context. But the learner tries to hear every single preposition. They try to hear every act, in, on. And because those words are usually reduced to tiny sounds, the learner misses them, gets stuck trying to figure out what they missed, and then loses the rest of the sentence.
You just mentioned something very important. You said those small words are reduced. This leads us to the most important sound in English, the sound that changes everything, the schwa.
Ah, the schwa, the lazy sound, the sound of a teenager on a sofa. Ugh.
It's the most common sound in English, yet it has no letter in the alphabet. It's the ghost vowel. Peter, can you explain why the schwa makes listening so difficult?
Sure. In many languages, like Spanish or Italian or Japanese, the vowels are strong. A is ah, E is e, O is o. They are stable. In English, we bully our vowels. We crush them. If a vowel is not stressed, we punch it in the stomach until it says ugh.
That is a violent image, Peter.
It is a violent language. Let's look at the word banana. Everyone knows this fruit. B-A-N-A-N-A. 3 A's. Daisy, pronounce it slowly and clearly.
Ba-na-na.
Okay, now, are all 3 A's pronounced the same?
No. The first A is short. The middle A is long and strong. The last A is short. Banana.
Right. The stress is in the middle. Na. That is the only real vowel. The first A and the last A have been punched. They turned into schwas. B, n. If you try to say ba, na, na with 3 strong vowels, you sound like a robot. But here is the listening trap. When a native speaker says, I want a banana, they go very fast over the schwas. I want a banana.
I want a banana. The 2 in want to became a schwa too, didn't it?
It did. Want to became wanna, a became banana became banana. So the sentence is just a rhythm. Da, 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 da. I want a banana.
This is why drills are so important. We need to train your brain to hear the rhythm, not the letters. I want to do a stress time drill. English is a stress-timed language. This means the time it takes to say a sentence depends on the number of stressed syllables, not the total syllables.
This is a hard concept. Let's demonstrate it. I will say 4 sentences. Each sentence will get longer, adding more words, but the rhythm, the beat, will stay exactly the same.
Okay, I will be the metronome. I will snap my fingers. Snap, 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 snap. Keep this beat, Peter.
Okay, here we go. 1. Dogs chase cats. 3 stresses. 2. The dogs chase cats. 3. The dogs will chase the cats. 4. The dogs will chase the cats.
Wait, let's do that again. Listeners, did you hear that? The time between the snaps did not change, even though Peter added the and will.
I had to speak faster to fit the little words in. Dogs chase cats. The dogs will chase the cats. The words the and will were squashed. They became tiny. If you listen for the, you will miss dogs.
Let's try a harder one, a real-life sentence. I will meet you at the station. The stress is on meet and station. Snap, snap. Meet, station. Peter, fit the sentence into that beat.
I'll meet you at the station.
You really mushed that together. I'll meet you. There's that ch sound again. T plus Y. Meet you, meet you.
It is everywhere, Daisy. Once you hear the ch, In meet you, or get you, or bet you, you can't stop hearing it. It unlocks the door.
Okay, I want to pivot to another area where my students struggle. The difference between how you and I handle the letter T. We touched on this with water, but we need to go deeper. The flap T.
Oh, the flap T. The reason British people think Americans sound drunk.
Giggle. I was too polite to say it, but yes. When I say the word letter, like a piece of mail, L-E-T-T-E-R, I pronounce the T, letter. It's sharp. It hits the roof of my mouth and stops the air.
And when I say letter. It sounds like a D, a soft, fast D. I wrote a letter.
Now, why does this matter for listening? Because if a student learns the word metal, M-E-T-A-L, in a British classroom, they expect met-tul. Then they go to America or they watch a Hollywood movie and they hear med-dul, and they think medul, like a gold medal?
Context is king. You have to realize that Americans transform the T into a D whenever it's between two vowels. Water becomes waiter. Better becomes better. City becomes city.
City. That's a great example. New York City.
New York City. If you say New York CT with a sharp T, everyone will know you're a tourist immediately. Let's drill this. I want to give the listeners a translation exercise. I will say the British clean T version. Peter will translate it into American flap T. Listeners, repeat after Peter. Put it away. Crisp T on put. Put it away. Put it away. Put it away. Not at all. Not at all. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here. That sounds like something from a mafia movie. Get out of here.
It is, but look at the linking there. Get out of here, 4 words. Get ends in T, out starts with O. Link them. Get out. Get out. Out ends in T, of starts with O. Link them. Out of. Out of. Of ends with V sound. Here starts with H. Sometimes we drop the H, of air. So it becomes one long train. Get out of here.
It really is music. It's jazz.
It is jazz. And you can't learn jazz from a textbook. You have to listen to the notes between the notes.
I want to talk about elision now, the disappearing act. We talked about sounds changing, assimilation, and sounds linking, catenation, but what about when sounds just vanish?
The case of the missing T. This happens in both our accents, actually. When a word ends in a T or D and the next word starts with a consonant, we often just delete the T or D.
For example?
Next week. N-E-X-T. Next week. Try saying that clearly, Daisy.
Next week. It's quite difficult. My tongue has to do a lot of gymnastics to hit the T and then the W. Next week.
So the brain, being lazy and efficient, says delete the T. It becomes next week. Last night instead of last night. Sandwich instead of sandwich.
Sandwich. Yes, I definitely do that. I had a ham sandwich. If I said sandwich, I would sound very posh and perhaps a bit stiff.
There's a famous story about this. I had a student, a German engineer, very precise. He was trying to order mashed potatoes. He was saying mashed with a very strong ED at the end. Mashed, mashed. He was putting so much effort into the ending. But in a sentence, I like mashed potatoes, the D disappears. I like mashed potatoes.
Mash potatoes. It becomes one compound noun.
Exactly. Listeners, I want you to relax your mouth. This is the biggest physical advice I can give. Your mouth is too tight. You're trying to articulate every letter. English is spoken with a loose jaw. Daisy, do a jaw massage with me. Rubbing sound.
I'm rubbing my jaw. It looks ridiculous, but it feels nice.
Massage the jaw. Let it hang open. Now say, I dunno.
I dunno.
I don't know is the most common phrase where elision happens. The T in don't is gone. The D in don't is almost gone. It's just vowels and nasals. I know. 3 sounds. I know.
I know. Peter, let's go back to the mental aspect, the mentorship part. You said earlier that students drown because they look for bricks. How do we change their daily habit? If a listener wakes up tomorrow and wants to practice slow listening, what should they do?
First, they need to change what they listen to. Most students listen to learner English. They listen to textbooks where the actors speak like, hello, John, how are you? This is poison.
Poison? That's a strong word.
It is poison because it trains your brain for a reality that doesn't exist. It's like training for a marathon by walking to the fridge. You need to listen to real English, but, and this is the catch, you need to slow it down using technology, not by changing the speaker.
So take a YouTube video of a real person and play it at 0.75 speed?
Exactly. Use the speed controls. When you play a native speaker at 0.75x, you can hear the linking. You can hear the get out of here. You can hear the ghosts. Once you hear them at 0.75x, you turn it up to normal speed. Your brain will recognize the pattern.
Pattern recognition. That is what this is. It is not vocabulary, it is pattern recognition.
I have a drill for this. I call it the echo method. Daisy, pick a difficult sentence with lots of linking.
Okay, how about, he must have been working late.
Perfect. He must have been working late. Step 1. Listen to it. He must have been working late. Step 2. Don't write it down. Step 3. Hum the music. Daisy, hum that sentence.
Da 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 da.
Perfect. You stripped away the words and found the skeleton. He must have been working late. The have reduced to of. Must have, must of. Been reduced to been. Working lost the G, workin'. So the skeleton is he must have been working late.
I love the humming technique. It bypasses the logical brain and goes straight to the musical brain.
And that is where language lives. It lives in the music. If you can hum it, you can say it. If you can say it, you can hear it.
I want to ask you about the H sound, dropping the H. In London, this is very common in Cockney dialects, Harry instead of Harry. But Americans do it too in the middle of sentences, right?
Oh, constantly. This is called H-dropping in pronouns. Tell him becomes tell him. Ask her becomes ask her. Did he becomes diddy.
Diddy. D-I-D-D-E. Diddy go. Did he go?
Yes. I remember a student getting very confused by the question, is he busy? Fast American, is he busy? The student thought I was talking about a girl named Izzy. Who is Izzy? I said, no, is he, is E. The H is weak. It falls off the cliff.
So ask her sounds like Oscar?
Very close. I should ask her to I should ask her. It sounds exactly like the name Oscar. I should ask her out. I should ask her out. If you're listening for the word her, you will miss it. You have to listen for the sound attached to the previous word.
This brings us back to the core philosophy. You are listening for the wrong boundaries. You are listening for the start of the word her, but the sound has actually attached itself to the end of ask. Asker. The boundary moved.
The boundary moved. That is the headline of today's episode. The borders between words are liquid. They move. An apple. We write an and apple, but we say an apple. The N moves to the apple.
An apple. An orange.
Exactly. And if you're not ready for moving borders, you will always feel lost.
Peter, we have covered catenation, elision, assimilation, and the schwa. That's a lot for one session. I want to spend the last few minutes doing a master drill. We're going to take a very complex sentence and apply everything we've learned.
Let's do it. Give me a nightmare sentence.
Okay, here is the sentence. I would have told him if I had known he was coming. Whew, that's a mouthful. Conditionals.
Okay, let's brutalize this sentence. Let's apply the New York filter. I would have told him if I had known he was coming. Step 1. Would have. Daisy, how do we reduce that?
Would've. And then often just woulda.
Woulda. Good. Step 2. Told him. Drop the H. Told him. So far, I woulda told him. Step 3. If I had. The H in had is often dropped or weak. If I had, or just if I'd. If I'd known. Step 4. He was. Drop the H in he was. Known he was. Step 5. Coming. Drop the G. Comin'. Now, put it all together. I would have told him if I'd known he was comin'.
I would have told him if I'd known he was coming.
It sounds like a totally different language. It is. It's spoken English. It's not written English. They're cousins, but they're not twins.
I want a listener to pause the audio right now, go back 30 seconds, listen to Peter say that fast version, repeat it, scream it, whisper it, own it. I would have told him.
And don't feel bad if you can't do it perfectly today. This is muscle memory. Your mouth has been trained for years to articulate clearly. You're untraining your mouth. You're teaching it to be lazy.
Being lazy is hard work.
It is. It takes a lot of effort to look this effortless.
Peter, before we go, I want to address the listener who's feeling overwhelmed. They're thinking, I will never learn all these rules. There are too many. What's your final mentorship advice to them?
You don't need to memorize the rules. You didn't memorize the rules of how to walk. You just watched people walk, and you tried it, and you fell down, and you got up. The rules we talked about today, catenation, intrusion, elision, these are just names for natural physical processes. When you speak fast, your tongue takes shortcuts. That's all it is. My advice, stop studying English. Start studying people. Watch how their mouths move. Listen to the music, not the lyrics. And relax. The anxiety is the only thing truly stopping you.
Beautifully said. Stop studying English, start studying people. Peter, this has been an absolute revelation. I think we've cured a lot of listening trauma today.
I hope so, Daisy. It's always a pleasure to break down the walls.
Listeners, your homework is simple. Find one sentence today, just one. Listen to a native speaker say it, deconstruct it, find the ghosts, find the linked sounds, and then say it until it feels like water in your mouth. Thank you for listening to the Slow English channel.
Keep listening, keep swimming.
See you next time. And then a gentle jazz outro music fades in.